Great, okay. I'll try not to keep you from food and another beer very much longer. Actually, there hasn't been very much news since the last time that we had our meetup, which is in November. There's not an awful lot of new things have happened, but there's a few things that have kind of caught my eye. Just going to move the cursor out of the way. Sheffield City Council, as part of its Sheffield Plan, emerging Sheffield Plan for the built environment in Sheffield, and everything related to it, has just launched a call for sites where they're asking organisations and the general public to indicate sites within Sheffield that could be developed or could be turned to a different use than they are at the moment, which is kind of an interesting way of doing a digital survey to understand where in the city could be redeveloped and beyond the obvious assets that the council has already mapped. So it's really engaging with the city and with citizens to try and collectively have ideas about how parts of the city could be used for multiple purposes. I think that's a really interesting thing to do, and I was a little bit surprised to see them do this. And this is part of a whole set of other activities and initiatives that are going on to create a new plan for Sheffield, not just leave the redevelopment of the city to the heart of the city project, but to extend the continual development or strategic development of the city and how traffic and people flow through it and what uses different parts of the city and buildings are put to in a new context. Also of interest to people that have been to these meetups before, the street tree situation. So after about 18 months worth of mediation, the City Council and Amy, Streets Ahead, and STAG, which is the Street Tree Action Group, or Sheffield Tree Action Group, have put together a set of lessons learned from all of the mediation that's happened. And it's a really good document. It's an incredible situation to be in now, after all of the protests and the police actions and the court cases and all of the crisis over the felling of street trees in Sheffield. To now have a document that describes what the mistakes were that were made and how things are going to move forward. A lot of this, interestingly, I guess from a smart cities point of view, is that a lot of this involves monitoring of the urban forest in Sheffield, but there's no mention in this of how it's going to be monitored and how that data is going to be made available for more than just the council and Amy to monitor. So that may be something that we could write an open letter about, and how this data is going to be presented to the general public to interrogate. Just a reminder from last time that the Sheffield City Region Active Travel Map is still available for people to input into. It's going to be up until the end of March, I think. So this is a way of indicating issues around active travel across the Sheffield City region on an interactive map. So whether it's walking or cycling or other means of moving around without using a car or public transport. Also, Sheffield City Region have just released another new digital platform, which is around investment. So there is now a resource called Locate in Sheffield City Region, which is a database that companies and investors can interrogate to understand different parts of the city region better, in terms of the geography, in terms of the talent pipeline and skills availability, economic activity, average property prices, a whole set of information that's available, and you can basically look at different parts of Sheffield City region and get reports on these things in a visual interface, which is kind of a really interesting and innovative way of attracting more investment in the city region by making this data available. Quick update on the Sheffield Things Network for those that aren't aware of it. The Things Network is a low-cost, community-based Internet of Things network that uses low-cost gateways. There are currently 17 gateways across the city using a protocol called LoRaWAN, which is long-range Wi-Fi. So these are very low bandwidth, very long range, very low energy communications protocols that allow you to have many sensors or actuators out in the field that are all communicating to a base station that can be a long way away, even in a city envelope, up to a mile or more away. Open line of sight. I think the record was set earlier, well, it was set last year at over 700 kilometres. There are 17 gateways up in Sheffield at the moment, so coverage is fairly good. So if you wanted to build a sensor network or you wanted to experiment with this technology, it's a very cheap and easy way of doing so. There are currently 41 people contributing to this in the community, 17 gateways, as I say, and it's the Things Network annual conference at the end of this month in Amsterdam, which if anybody wants to pop over to would be a good thing. And if you do, let me know, and you can come and talk about it at the next event. Just a quick reminder as well that IoT Sheffield is on the 6th of February. And there's a whole bunch of other, this is the current kind of slide of digital and technology events that are going on across Sheffield that Sheffield Digital publish every couple of weeks. So you can see actually ours is at the top there, but I'll leave that up for a sec. If there's anything else that's interesting, do check it out, but it's an indication of how many other events and meetups go on in this city. If anybody wants to join the mailing list and get updates, go to smartsheffield.city. If anyone has anything they'd like me to cover in the future news, please let me know by emailing info@smartsheffield.city. I'll leave it up for a sec, and that's it. Thanks very much. We can all go next door and have another drink and more of a chat. Thank you.